Folklore, Frights, and Sounds. This is our brand new podcast we've been filming right here in Folklore Music Exchange in Charleston, West Virginia. I am your host, Justin Puett. I'm the owner of Folklore Music Exchange. I'm here with my sidekick, Jeremiah Hatfield. We play in bands together, we play music all the time, and we also here at the shop sell guitars and all kinds of accessories and stuff like that, and we're happy to be here with you guys. We are bringing you a podcast where we're talking about music, we're talking about ghosts, we're talking about creepy stuff, we're talking about life here in Appalachia. And today we've got a special guest. It's a good buddy of ours, a singer-songwriter from Fayetteville. This is Andrew Adkins. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Andrew.
I'm a songwriter. I play music and tour all around, writing songs for other people and myself. And I come down here and hang out at Folklore Music to eat Thai food.
Yes, you do.
I drive all the way down here for that. I grew up here. I grew up in Nicholas County, West Virginia, and I've been in Fayette County for a long time, since 95 probably. And I just live right on the New River Gorge and spend a lot of time out there making up songs.
You write a lot of songs.
I do. I don't say that because it makes me seem like I'm bragging, but the way you say it, we can talk about my mental illness of how I have to write songs constantly. It's just part of me. Songwriting is something that just came really easy for me, not melody wise, but lyrical wise. And I've just always been doing it, just a constant thing. And I've written, I personally have probably 8 records out in the world, and I've written a couple other records for people, and a bunch of songs. And I don't know what prolific is. I don't know what a lot of songs are, but when I tell people how many songs I write, they always seem to be surprised, or they don't believe me, and then they see how many songs I have out there, and like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of songs. But to me, it's not enough songs.
No, I mean, you're always writing new songs, and there's always new ideas.
I wrote one on the way down here, actually.
Exactly.
I might sing it today.
That's fine. You have a new album you just released?
I do. I have a record. It's a live album, Vandalia. It's songs about growing up in Appalachia, people I knew, my grandparents, stories I've heard. It's all about growing up in Appalachia. It's called Vandalia. And you can purchase it here at Folklore Music.
Yeah, we did your album release party right on this stage, and
we did, and that was great. We had a great night that night, and
also heard you had a great backing band.
That's right, Jeremiah and Justin and Eric behind the cameras play in my band 1863, and come see us play live.
Yeah, we'll be playing here again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but you also, so you in your spare time, Luthier work. You build guitars, and
I do. I own a company called Leland Guitars. I build custom handmade instruments. I got away from it for a while, mostly because of the pandemic. People just weren't buying custom handmade guitars, and also I wasn't enjoying it as much as I wanted to, just because I was doing straight custom builds for people, and when you're doing straight customs, people are looking for something specific. And that thing is the feeling they got when their grandpa handed them their Martin D18. I can build you a replica of your grandpa's guitar. It'll sound like it. It'll play like it. It'll look like it, but it doesn't have that feeling you get in your soul when your grandpa hands you that. And when you're building custom instruments, that's what people are looking for. So it became very frustrating. So I got away from it. I'm just now back to doing that. To where I'm just going to build a bunch of guitars, and if you like it, you can buy it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. So I'm getting away from the custom work and just building for the joy of building.
That's great. I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good way to do it, you know?
Yeah, it's, but guitars are expensive. So if somebody would buy one, so I could have more money to build more guitars, that would be awesome.
Sure, absolutely. You used to have your own music store, right?
I did. I had a music store for several years there in Fayetteville, West Virginia. It's called Leland Guitars, and half of the building I had my shop in where I was building guitars. The other half was retail stuff, and I had concert venues in there. I had a thing called Dinner and a Show, where people would come in and we would feed them dinner and they would watch a show. I think the concept of that store was great, but the thing is people wanted to come in and watch you build guitars, because I built the wall out of glass, out of old windows, so people could look into the shop, but it kept the dust out of the main room. And really what it became was just people asking me a bunch of questions, and I never got any guitars built because I was just too busy talking. And there were some old men in town that showed up literally the day I opened. They showed up, they looked around, they left. 2 days later, they came back with a coffee maker and like styrofoam cups, and then they would just come down, make coffee. Like I do
drink
here.
a lot of coffee.
Yeah,
here,
like I do here.
honest.
I just come down for Thai food and end up
exactly.
staying all day, and that's what they did at my store. So I didn't get very many guitars built, but
Sure.
but I closed it down a few years ago just because I was touring at the time with a band called the Wild Rumpus, and we were playing 150, 160 shows a year all over the country, and there was just I wasn't making enough money to hire somebody to run the store, and my store wasn't successful enough for me to shut down for 15, 16 days while we were out on a run. So I decided that making up songs and singing them was more profitable at the time. So I took off on the road instead.
Yeah. And you toured for a while there. You did a European tour.
Yeah, Clint, and who played the bass in the Wild Rumpus and still plays with 1863 sometimes. Clint and I, we toured all over the country and all over, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, parts of Germany, France. We didn't play in France. We just drove through the corner of it. But
that counts. You were in France on tour.
So I still tour, just not quite as much as I used to, just because my son is at an age to where I like watching him play sports and stuff like that. But I mean, we're doing a run down in Virginia next month.
We sure are. So we're playing when we can.
Yeah. So I'm still doing it. I'm just not doing it 150 shows a year.
Right.
And I just finished writing my next record that I'm pitching. I started pitching it 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And I haven't heard from Justin, so I'm not sure where we're at, but
we're working on it.
We're
working hard.
It was bad. I pitched him 20 songs, and he goes, "We're almost there." And I was like, "How many more songs I got to write to be there?" But yeah, I'm still putting out records and writing songs for people and singing them and playing them and going out on the road when I can.
So a lot of your lyrics, we were talking about this earlier, a lot of your lyrics can be dark and spooky.
Yeah.
You have wrote some ghost stories?
Well, I don't know if I'd written ghost stories, but like there's this thing, especially in Appalachia, and I'm sure in other places, but I'm more familiar with Appalachia. There's a lot going on here in the old mountains.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
and you hear lots of stories growing up. I have a couple songs that I wrote. They're on some of my solo records, but that a friend of mine was telling me her mother had passed away, and she told me that her mother had came to her, and sometimes she'll talk to her mother, and she's seen her mother, and I wrote a song. It's called Shadows, and that whole song is about just the story that the girl told me about how much she missed her mother.
Yeah.
And how she would see her ghost. And then there's another tune that I wrote about my grandmother. My grandmother had dementia, and she was hospitalized, and Easter was a big deal for my grandmother. And we started getting the call about how she's not going to make it through the night, and she lived about 5-6 hours away from us.
Yeah.
But then she would live, and then we would get a week later, we get a call. It's like, oh, she's not going to make it through the night. And this kept going on and on for months. And then at Easter, we get the call that she's not going to make it through the night, and she didn't. And it's almost like she orchestrated her to bring all of her family, which is a very large family, home on Easter. And so we get there, and it snows. It snowed on Easter, and we went to the grave site, and it was snowing, and my aunts and uncles were a little bit older, so I was kind of standing there making sure they made it up the hill to where the grave was, and I was the last one up, and I stopped, and in the distance, which I love trains, I write hundreds of songs about trains, but I hear a train whistle, and I don't know if you guys know this, and I don't know if it's common knowledge today, but back in the day, I collect these records that engineers had their own original whistle pull.
Did not know that.
So when they came to their hometown, their family would know that they were home. But each engineer, I have all these old records of Thurman, West Virginia, and places like that. They would record engineers' whistle pulls and put them out on vinyl records.
Wow.
And so engineers have their own unique signature of whistle pull. So I hear this train whistle in the distance, and it just, I just kind of had a smile on us.
Right.
It was like, it just felt like my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 6 months later, I was in West Virginia down on the New River, just kind of hanging out, playing the guitar, swimming, just doing all kinds of stuff. And here comes a train through the gorge, and it was the same whistle pull.
That's cool.
And immediately my brain just clicked, and I sat right there on the banks of the river and wrote that song.
Yeah.
About it. So I write songs a lot about those type of connections. Not that that's paranormal, but
for sure.
but,
but still,
it's still
that's
this
peaceful.
It's this otherworldly connection, I think, you know. And but yeah, I write a lot. I had a song on my record I put out in 2019 called Echoes, which is about the ghosts of the women in the Ohio River coming to help another female victim on the banks of the Ohio River. Which is, it's always weird to sing the line where she kills him and the ghosts help her and everybody in the audience cheers. All the women in the audience
for sure
cheer. So, but yeah, I've always felt a connection to allowing yourself to feel those type things, whether it's the energy or the ghost or the otherworldly connection.
Sure.
To write. I think it's just this level. I get this level of clarity when I'm writing those type songs.
My favorite song of yours is your saddest song that you've ever written.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I write a lot of sad songs.
It's the one when you thought you were going to write your own funeral song.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That song.
Yeah. I got sick and I was in the hospital and they forgot about me because there was a triage thing. So I was like there for 12 hours by myself. And so I wrote the song that everybody's going to sing at my funeral. And that's still true. And I want everybody everybody's welcome. Come on out. Justin will lead the choir.
It's a beautiful song. It's very sad, but it's beautiful.
Justin doesn't like when I tell this story, but when I told him I wrote the song for my funeral, and he was like, "Don't say that." And then I sang the song, and as soon as I finished the song, Justin says, "I've never been more excited about your funeral."
It's not as dark as it sounds. I just like the song. I don't want Andrew to die.
Yeah, I think there's this beautiful connection with that sort of stuff. I'm at the age where I remember as a kid going to, a lot of Appalachian death rituals that my great Aunt Noni and people like that still were observing.
Yeah.
And, a wake was literally in your living room.
Right. Yeah.
You'd go over there. They had funeral windows, to where body would lay in your house. People would come to your house instead of a funeral home. So.
My aunt and uncle's house, whenever I used to do sleepovers there as a kid, they would tell me that the living room where I slept in was where a dead body used to be for the wake they used to have in the house.
Yeah, 100%. I'm at the age where I remember those sort of things.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's common.
It was very, especially in Appalachia, and the connection I think when you're writing songs, especially if you're delving into the morbidity of writing about your own death,
sure,
you have to just kind of open yourself up to those type things,
right?
And then also when you go to a funeral here, I mean, some of these graveyards are just, it's wild, how old they are and how many people are buried in them. And, if you allow yourself to be open to feeling that energy, it's a very powerful thing. And I like to do that in my songwriting too. Like when I'm writing, I like to let those feelings in, let that energy in. Cause I just think that stories come from that,
Absolutely.
If people will whisper you stories if you're listening.
Big time. Do you have spooky stories? You said you may know a couple.
Well, I grew up in Appalachia, and now I live on New River Gorge, so there's all kinds of spooky stories. Like Red Ash Island out at, you still go down there. down on the New River, and it is just, and there's so many horrific tragedies, coal mine accidents and
Right.
explosions and
Yeah.
everything, and so many ghost towns. And I was said this earlier to someone. It's like, even if you don't believe in ghosts, which I'm assuming that people listen to the show do, it's energy. You can't deny energy. Energy exists, and it's just a residual energy that's around. And you go down to these old coal mine ghost towns down in the gorge, there, it's a lot. You can feel it. Or you go to Weston, where the asylum is. That whole town is heavy.
Yes.
In that type of energy. I grew up listening to ghost stories and telling ghost stories and being a part of ghost stories. I was thinking about what to say. There was a ghost story that I have. It's not really a ghost story. It's a personal experience of mine, which is a pretty cliche ghost story, I guess. But I was in St. Augustine, Florida. It's the oldest city in America as far as continuous residents. And it's a big family reunion down there. And we were doing a ghost tour.
Nice.
Just walking around. And if you've never been to St. Augustine, Florida, it's, where Ponce de Leon came, and there's a giant fort, and there's bloody battles, and you could still go down to Old Town and all this stuff. And that's where the ghost tour was. And I had a little cousin there. He was about 5 or 6 years old, and he was just kind of acting up in the ghost tour and being distracting and stuff. So I just plopped him on my shoulders, and I just kind of walked away from the ghost tour. And we walked down the street, and we went up this little side street, this residential area. Mm-hmm. And there was benches and street lights and stuff. And there's this little girl playing there. And so I sat on the bench, and he went over and started talking to her. And he showed her his truck, and she showed him her toys. And they sat there and talked for probably about 15 minutes. And then I see the ghost tour go by. So I said, "Oh, we have to go." And I plopped him on my shoulders, and we went down and caught back up to the ghost tour. And the ghost tour went on down the street about a block, takes another side road, and then comes back towards where we just were. And then we stop right on that corner, and he starts telling about this little girl in the 1700s who was murdered in this street. And some people have known to seen her. And my little cousin says her name.
Oh.
And the guy that was telling the story just stops dead. And he looks at me, and he looks at my cousin, and he's like, "Yes, that's her name." So everybody in the ghost tour was just kind of a little.
So he didn't know the girl's name.
No, I didn't either. I sat on a park bench and watched him over
what was
there.
Her name? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember her name. I was going to text him on the way down here to see if he remembered, because he's probably 30 at this point. But like, I just sat there on a bench and watched him playing trucks in the dirt. And the guy was like, "Oh, she climbs this tree, and sometimes people see her in the tree." And it was a very real experience for me, because I wasn't even paying attention. I was just sitting on the bench.
Right, yeah.
Waiting for the ghost tour people to come back. But when he said her name, he stopped dead and looks at her, looks at him, he looks at me, and like I don't think he believed that the ghost story was real.
Right.
Until that exact moment.
Wow.
And I told the story to everybody when we got back. Mm-hmm. They were like, "How did he know her name?" And I was like, "They were playing.
They're friends now.
They're friends." Yeah. So, and I grew up in Nicholas County. We used to go down this place called Sunday School Rock on Hominy, and it was, I don't know the story, but what I was told was when there was a town there, people would walk to church there, and they called it Sunday School Rock. And there was a dispute of two families, and you can go around the backside of Sunday School Rock and walk up the back of it. And it's not a cliff. It's literally looks like a giant rock, but it's huge. It's 60 feet tall. And the little girl went around the back of the rock and had fallen and died. And the town's gone now. And then there was a newspaper article 30 years later that there were coon hunters down there running their dogs, and the dogs ran around the back of Sunday School Rock, and they were yipping and yapping like they were chasing something. And then all of a sudden it stopped, and the hunters went around the back of the rock and went up. And they said when they got up there, there was a little girl petting the
Wow.
petting the dogs. And that was always, I don't know if that's true, but that was a story we were told. And we used to ride our bikes and four-wheelers and motorcycles down there. And that was our rule, that you weren't anywhere near Sunday School Rock when the sun went down. And I remember one time we were down there, I was on a four-wheeler, and like it started to get dark. And I was like, I started to panic a little bit because I'd been told that story my whole life. And you know, it's probably my own psychosis, but as I was driving by, I just got real heavy right on my core. I just kept going faster and faster and faster. And this is no joke. I've never been back to Sunday School Rock since that feeling of,
right. Like you're not alone. There's something there.
it's too dark to be this close to Sunday School Rock. So let's go. And I've told that story, and people are like, oh, you got to take the Sunday School Rock. I'm like, at noon. I will take you there at noon. Yeah. And then we were leaving. So
I believe like pets and like kids and stuff they can sense, like they can see things. Like,
I've always believed that. It's because they have, their veil is thinner, I think, because the world hasn't hardened their veil.
True. Yeah.
And I think they're more sensitive to energy, and they're just more open. It's like when a kid's talking to an imaginary friend. I'm like, is it imaginary friend? You know, like well, my brother, my youngest brother, and my mom could tell the story better than me. But until my brother was 4 years old, he told the most vivid, accurate Vietnam stories you'd ever heard, to where my mom was like writing names down. Like he was talking about his platoon until he was like 4 years old.
Wow.
And then at 4, it just kind of stopped. So I believe, like I said, the veil is more thin when they're young. And also, when your dog is just barking into nothing, I think it might not just be.
Frida likes to bark at 3 a.m. When I'm
that's
asleep
the witching
in bed,
hour, right?
At 3 a.m. sometimes she will just randomly bark and terrifies me and my wife, and we are awake now.
Well, Frida and I have something in common, because I wake up from a dead sleep every night at 3 a.m.
Start barking.
I don't bark, but I am jolted awake at 3 a.m. I know why I'm jolted awake at 3 a.m., but that's a different podcast. But it's the witching hour.
Right.
So I come from a long line of granny, Appalachian granny witches and medicine people, and my grandmother, Grammy Harper, she was a bit of a clairvoyant, and
nice.
And my mother is too. So I've always believed in that stuff, and I've always, like, if you go into a church right now, you could feel something in there, whether it's a ghost, whether it's whatever, but it's that energy that's in there that changes, or an old school or something like that. So there's something to be said about that. That feeling,
right?
And so I've always believed in it. My
it's
whole
like
life.
Echoes, literally.
Yeah.
Oh, you like that?
Nice tie in there. That's why you guys have a podcast.
See, I know your songs. When you talk about it earlier, I remember.
Right. That's right.
So yeah, you tell me about your guitar you play. Everyone loves that guitar that you play when you play live.
I always joke that it's a $50 guitar, which it probably is. It's a very unique guitar. It's a 39 Gibson body. And then it has Slingerland Drum Company. When Gibson bought them, they had a bunch of S.S. Stewart poplar necks. So it's a Gibson body with a Slingerland Drum Company poplar neck on it, and it was painted by Harmony in Chicago. So it has 3 different serial numbers. It has a Gibson serial number, a Slingerland Drum Company serial number, and a Harmony serial number.
Wow.
And it's as the guitar people that listen to the show, they'll understand what I'm saying. You could play 20 of those and they wouldn't be the same. That guitar is just made of magic. And I build guitars. I collect guitars. I have more guitars than I'm going to say on air. But ever since I've gotten that guitar, it's home. It feels like home when you put it on. When you strum it, the neck was made for me. The string spacing was made for me. everything about it was made. And it's changed the way I write. It's changed the way I play. Like, I bet you if you went back through, I could tell you the moment I got that guitar, because it changed the way I played. It changed the way I wrote songs, changed the way I approached music, especially touring with Clint, because he plays a stand-up bass. So that guitar cuts through the stand-up bass. So you hear all of the bass and all of the guitar, and it's just, I love it so much. And it's like I said, it's plywood.
Right.
How long have you had it?
I got it 2019. I was playing that Epiphone Olympic.
Mm-hmm.
That repop that they did them, I think in 2015, Epiphone did them, or 16. I'm not exactly sure, but I was playing the Olympic, the little arch top. And I've always loved arch tops. I've always collected them. I've always loved them. And then I was playing a show in Kentucky, and a guy says, "You like them old arch top guitars?" And I said, "I love them." I said, "They're my favorite guitars." He goes, "Oh, I got one for you." And he wanted me to meet him at a gas station. And we didn't even finish playing till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And he told me the gas station he wanted me to meet him at. And so we drove to the gas station. It was weird. I could probably tell you where the gas station is. You guys know what I'm talking about. But it's a gas station that has a parking lot, and then there's a gas station, and then there's a parking lot on the other side. So we get there at like 2 in the morning.
This random stranger.
Random stranger's going to give me arch top. He's going to give it to me. So I'm sitting at a gas station at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's not there. So I'm like, all right, well, this guy's not there. And all of a sudden my Facebook blows up, and he's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm here." He happened to be on the other side of the building. And I went over there, and he pulled it out, and he said, "This thing sounds terrible." He had the top part of the bridge. The bottom part of the bridge was gone.
Mm-hmm.
He had the top part of the bridge screwed into the guitar about 5 inches away from where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
He had classical strings on it. And he was just like, "It's terrible. It sounds terrible." And he's like, "You can have it." And he gave it to me. And I took it home and just kind of threw it in my wood shop. Didn't really think about it. And then one day I didn't have anything to do. And I said, "I'm going to string that up and put the bridge in the right place and see what happens."
Yeah.
And I strung it up, and it's never left my side ever since. I built a new bridge for it. I took the bridge I temporarily put on, threw it out, built a new bridge. I mean, over the years, I've refretted it, and I put modern day keys on it.
Right.
I put a pickup in it.
It's a player's guitar.
It's a player's guitar.
You're going to play it. It's got to be
100%.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's not going to be in a, well, hopefully one day it'll be in a museum for my podcast fame.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But yeah, that's how I got the guitar, and it's been all over the world with me. It's played 1,000 shows all over the world, and it's always funny, like when I go to Europe and they'll open the case and they'll see this 1930s guitar and be like, I'm like, it's worth $50.
Right.
I did $600. I've done $600 worth of work to it, and it's worth $50, but it's my $50. And
I mean, Jeremiah's Strat is like that.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just guitar becomes part of your DNA at a certain point.
It does.
And it's just.
And the thing about my, the SS Stewart that I play, it became a part of my DNA the first time I strummed a chord on it. And Clint, my best friend and bandmate, he was there when I did it. And I even have a video of him doing it the day I strung it up. And he just right in the middle of playing a song, he looks up at me, and you could see it on his face. Like, this is your guitar, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's the thing about music, though. Like, if you find that, I know people, and you'll have people on the show that constantly are searching for that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they'll find it, and then they'll talk themselves out of it, and then they'll start searching again. But for me, I didn't really search. I mean, when I played the mandolin, the Wild Rumpus, so I didn't have to worry about it, because I didn't care what the mandolin sounded like, because I wasn't very good at it. But when I started touring playing the guitar, I built myself a guitar. I played this old Martin that I have, which I love. I still have both of those guitars, and I love it. And then I went to an arch top, so I got that little Epiphone. And then I got that SS Stewart, and it's just like, nope, this is it.
That's why I asked how long you had it, because to me, it just feels like you've always had it, that you've had it longer
Yeah.
than 7 years.
It's part of you.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it feels when I pick it up and play it. And as a matter of fact, I have a rehearsal space in my house, and I'll play that little Epiphone Olympic. I'm better on that guitar than I am on the SS Stewart, because the bounce of that guitar is so great, and it's a shorter scale, and it has a preamp in it, so you can really dial it in, and I play that guitar better than I do the SS Stewart. But when you pick up that SS Stewart, it feels like a part of me in a way that other guitars don't.
I get it.
And I'm very lucky because, and you're very lucky. And I know, I mean, Justin's been in my band for a couple of years. He's had 94 different guitars. There's 7 of them sitting right there. And every time he's like, this one's going to be great.
They all are great.
They're all great.
It's the curse of owning a guitar store.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my Gibson, the LG2 that my wife bought me. It's a custom shop. Only made 41 of them. It is that magical special guitar that I will never get rid of. That thing, it's been through a lot. I've put a lot of wear on it. It fell on some asphalt one day. We picked it up and brushed it off and said, cool, I did that. You know, it don't bother me none. Now I'll keep this guitar forever.
Yeah.
That's a part of me.
Yeah. And that you're very lucky to have that. Some guitar players search for it forever. I've literally watched a guitar player spend 3 hours with a pedal board and his guitar trying to tweak out his sound, finally get a sound, and it's like this euphoric moment of, I did it, this is the sound I'm looking for, and 10 minutes later out of the corner of my eye I see him turning a knob. I'm like, there it went.
Well, that's the fun part of pedals too, man. You can really have some fun and take
you
a
can
lot
buy
of time.
all your pedal needs at Folklore Music.
We do like pedals.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's why I never played electric, because I'm afraid of pedals. But my guitar, and the serial number is like 39 to 51. Like that's the serial number. 39 just sounds cooler. It very well could be a 1951, but when you look up the serial numbers, it says 39 to 51.
But there's a big chance it's a 39, so we'll go with 39.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody.
That works for me.
But still, 51's cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just, there's something special about being able to feel that guitar against your chest, and it even if you're not playing it, you know it. You're part of it,
right.
You know, and you're part of the history of it, and you're part of, you know, how many other people wrote songs on that and played songs on that, and
the history of guitars is amazing to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when I see a guitar, we've got a guitar hanging over there that's 84 years old.
Right.
And who knows where it's been, what stages it's seen, who's touched it. Like, that blows my mind.
Well, you talked about your Gibson. I have a 51 Gibson LG, and
that's a great guitar.
The guy who owned it wrote his name on the front of the guitar in red marker. So when I toured with that in the Wild Rumpus, we just refer to my Gibson as Cecil.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it says Cecil Persinger right across. If you're listening, Cecil. And the story that I got, again, I don't know if it's 100% true, but the story I got was he wrote his name on it because he was afraid somebody's going to steal it, and he was gigging. And in 1965, they backed over it after a gig.
Ooh.
And it made him so mad that he quit. And it was in his closet until about 2006 or 7, and that's when Alan Sizemore got it from him, and it was essentially in pieces.
Yeah.
And then Alan ended up giving it to me, and it took me almost a year to fix it up and make it playable. And it still has a huge crack in it that I've never addressed in the back.
Sure,
but
that happens.
But you know, it's like it says Cecil Persinger right on the front, and like to me, like I just see this guy gigging all these years, and then just being so frustrated at some bar gig that he just made $12 at, and somebody hollering at him to play Wagon Wheel, even back in the '60s. I don't know. You imagine as a guitar builder, you know, you think about the guy that built my guitar in 1939, you know, a 25-year-old dude working at his guitar shop and building that guitar. And it's like, was he just a factory worker, or was he out gigging? Was
Right.
that building guitars his dream?
Yeah.
And stuff. One time at the Martin factory, I actually talked to the custom shop guy. We were shooting a documentary up there when we were in the Wild Rumpus, and I was talking to the custom shop guy, and Martin is a very family or like people generationally
Oh,
work
absolutely.
there,
Yeah.
and the stories that they were telling, and it's just so amazing to me. It's like, oh, this guitar was built by C.F. Martin the First. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's still there and from 1833. I
Awesome.
love that. I love the craftsmanship of it, and just dive into, like, you guys are into electric guitars, but you look into Mary Ford and Les Paul and what they were doing,
Oh, I know.
and creating that sort of stuff, and
Hmm.
it's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
And then when I have an old guitar, I collect vintage guitars, and when you're holding it, it's just like you start to feel those ghosts.
Yeah.
The ghosts of the people who built it or have played it before.
Oh, I
you.
guarantee you there's haunted guitars.
100%.
I've heard stories. At one time, there was a handmade djembe. The drum came into the shop years ago I worked at. And I don't even remember where we got it from, but one day this guy shows up. He said, "Where did you get this?" And I was like, "I somebody sold it to us." He was like, "You do not want this in your possession." He was like, the story behind it, he wouldn't tell me the details, but he was like, "You need to get rid of this immediately because it has some real bad juju behind it."
How well did you know this guy?
I enough to where I was like, "I don't want this."
Oh,
And I don't remember, I think maybe we may just sold it back to him. It could have been a whole story so he could get it from us. However,
he
if
threw
he's
it in the
telling the
dumpster, and the
truth,
guy was climbing in the
Yeah.
dumpster out there.
right?
No, I think, I mean, back to the ghost story stuff. Those energies and entities will attach themselves to things
Oh,
to where,
yeah.
I've been in houses where people collect antiques, and they're like, something weird's happening.
Right.
It's like, there's things getting moved around.
that's going to be our house. Our house is covered with stuff like
Antiques.
that. Oh, that's all Brittany does is go to antique shops.
Yeah, and those things attach themselves to things, so it
Yeah.
could very well be a guitar.
Oh, big time.
Was you're talking about the energy and stuff. Like, think about how much that guitar is a part of you. Like, you're going to haunt that guitar
Oh,
when you're
100%.
dead. Yeah,
100%.
unless it's buried with you.
That's the item I will be attached to when I'm dead.
You'll hear people whispering, "Key of 3."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely believe that, and also there's a great Guy Clark song. If you've never heard it, we should end the show with it. It's a song about a guy that goes into a pawn shop, and the guy at the pawn shop hands him a guitar, and he starts playing the guitar. Like I don't want to say the payoff because
Sure.
I want people to go listen to it, but Guy Clark, I think it's called The Guitar, something like that. Brilliant song about
Okay.
exactly what we're
Nice.
talking about, sort of.
There have been some times sporadically where you'll say stuff like, security cameras will go off in here, but it's not consistent. So I wonder if you've had some haunted guitars come through here.
Well, do you remember the Supra? We had a 1960 Supra. The model number was 666.
Oh, yeah.
And we had the joke, the not haunted
Not
sign
haunted,
on
yeah.
the guitar, and that was a huge talking point for people.
Nice.
And yeah, so I'm sure some of this old stuff that comes through has got to have some kind of energy.
There's a songwriter that I'm a big fan of. His name's Steve Goodman, and he was a great musician and a great songwriter. But he said one time, he said, buy the cheap guitars, because back in the day, people who were rich could afford to buy a fancy Martin parlor guitar to put in there, and they didn't get played. They just sat in their parlor. He says, you buy these cheap old catalog guitars, those people saved up their money to buy them, and they were played on every front porch, every barn dance, every picnic, every church social under the sun. And he said, those are the ones you want because they have all that energy and love in them, and they've been played and they've been done that. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these old guitars you have come through here have that energy. And plus, just imagine this, like Jeremiah said, I'm so attached to my guitar. I gave the dude $50 for it, and imagine during the Depression, saving up all your money to order a guitar. I mean, that guitar means everything to you. You worked for a year to save up enough money to buy a $5 guitar from Sears and Roebuck. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And which is funny because a lot of those guitars are Gibsons. You know, I mean, Gibson was making the Montgomery Ward's guitars.
Mm.
They were just selling them for a lot cheaper because it didn't say Gibson.
Right.
It said Montgomery Ward's. But imagine being in a position to where $7 for a Silvertone guitar took you a year to save up.
Mhm.
You're attached to that guitar and
Oh,
you
yeah.
love that guitar.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I would not doubt it. I've been to vintage guitar shops to where I'm like, there's more going on here than just music.
Nice. Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
I think you just have to be open to that sort of stuff.
You do exactly.
You know, if you don't want to believe in any of that stuff, that's fine.
Right.
And you're not going to be susceptible to it.
Mhm.
Now, if you walk in there with a open mind and, you know, you open up your little force field.
Yep.
I think you'll really feel
You may be
stuff like
drawn
that.
to that guitar that has.
Again, go listen to Guy Clark.
Okay.
Or I mean, Jeremiah, I mean, both of you guys have played my guitar. I mean, and I guarantee you both of you would say, no, this is a special guitar.
Mhm.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, big
Yeah.
time.
You know,
Everyone who plays your guitar says the same thing.
everyone that's ever handled that guitar, you know, is it the best sounding guitar in the world? No. Is it the best playing guitar in the world? No. But every single person that's ever played my guitar has strummed a chord and looked at me like, oh,
I get it. Yeah.
I
Right.
get it. It's
Absolutely.
different, you know.
Nice.
So.
That's awesome, man. Well, one thing we always do. What's your favorite horror movie?
I don't watch horror movies.
You don't watch a lot of TV.
I don't do TV. I don't like to be entertained.
We know.
I'll turn on the TV just as background music to when I'm writing a song.
Yeah.
I don't really watch much TV. Now, as a kid,
Sure.
that was, you know, in the 80s, like Friday the 13th and stuff was coming out, and
Classic.
the Nightmare on Elm Street stuff
Yep.
was coming out, and
Did you watch Poltergeist?
Faces.
Faces. Do you see they're doing a Faces of Death?
Oh, really?
It's a loose reboot. So basically,
Gosh.
there's a new Faces of Death coming out where I think the plot is essentially the characters are sucked into a group of people who are recreating actual Faces of Death, and so then,
Nice.
so
Yeah.
so the Faces of Death is popping back up in.
Yeah, Texas
Mainstream.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Sure.
We used to go to Butler Video and rent them for sleepovers or
Mhm.
for parties. I had a basement, and we all hung out in the basement, so we would try to scare each other
Did you ever
down
play
there.
with the Ouija board?
Oh yeah, yeah, and we did that whole bit where you try to pick somebody up,
Light as a feather.
light as a feather.
Mhm.
We did the Bloody Mary, or in the mirror.
Classics.
We did all that sort of stuff.
Anything ever come out of that?
I never got to it because I just had a feeling that something was.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Ouija boards, man. I know, like, I'm not sure if I would be around for that, or I would stick around for that.
Yeah,
I'm not
we
sure.
we did some Ouija board stuff, and again, it's one of those things where it's just like, what if this is real?
Right,
You know,
exactly.
this is like err on the side of caution here.
You never know.
I did watch Poltergeist, which is one of the reasons I don't watch a lot of TV.
One of my favorite movies is Poltergeist.
And plus, I was about that little girl's age when
Yeah.
that movie came out, so
Yep.
I didn't want to get sucked.
And she
into
passed
TV.
away after the third
She
one.
did, yeah,
Mysteriously.
yeah. I never got into horror movies, but I never got into movies
Sure.
or TV really. I was more into the music part
Yeah.
of it, and but yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, there was a lot of Faces of Death and Friday the 13th and
Sure.
Nightmare on Elm Street and Poltergeist. And I'm sure I'm missing.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm missing some. I don't know which Poltergeist it is, but then when that old man in like the suit and the hat comes,
Poltergeist 2.
that's Poltergeist 2. Like that old man shows up in my dreams sometimes, and I've literally only seen that movie once
Yes.
in the 80s.
Right. Terrifying.
like the way he talks, the
Yes.
tone of his
And
voice.
he sings like the hymn. He's like
Yeah.
singing gospel hymns.
Doesn't he have that big toothy smile too?
Yes, he does. Yes.
He's very gaunt. He's like
Yeah.
it's like sunken in kind of face, and he has that creepy voice, and he has that.
It was incredible acting.
Well,
Like,
He was.
Or was it?
It wasn't. Well, he was actually actively dying of cancer during that.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
that's
he
what-
looks
wow.
so gaunt and stuff. And so that actually kind of adds a
didn't
extra
know that.
little layer to that. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
creepy too.
But yeah, we
And
did that
sad.
a lot. I had a basement, and in my parents' basement, we had couches and beds and TVs and
Mhm.
all that sort of stuff. So all my friends used to always come over there and hang out, and we would always, everybody like, we got to watch scary movies. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into it because I'm a big baby. I don't, I'm scared. I want to be able to sleep.
Right. Sure. I get it.
Yeah.
But
So-
that's the cool thing about you is you write a lot of songs, which is awesome. You have a lot of like really well written, thought out songs.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna write a song about Poltergeist on the way home.
Please do.
What a terrifying movie that is.
I know.
Because it's like, it wasn't like, it's like, to me, everything in that movie could happen.
It was based off a true story, loosely. And also,
Now I'm not going to sleep ever again.
do you remember the scene at the end of the movie whenever she's in the pool and all the dead bodies start popping up? Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
actual bodies. Those are actual skeletons.
Nice.
Yeah, they used real dead bodies and or skeletons for that scene.
That was a good idea.
Right. Well, her fear is very real. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hear that the horror movie are good now. Like there's some really good stuff
Oh,
out there right
absolutely.
now.
It's been amazing.
It's just not
lately.
my bag, but I don't
Sure.
really watch movies either.
Mhm.
I like movies that end and you're just like, what? What? That was what? Like I want to be angry when I leave a movie. I don't want to be like entertained.
Right.
You know, I could entertain myself, man. I got a lot going on in my brain. I don't need to be entertained. So, and I don't need to be scared, but, cause I'm scared enough.
Life is scary.
Life is
enough.
terrifying.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Nice. Well, awesome. I mean, I feel good. It's been a good talk. I think it's time we get you up on stage to play a song. How's that
great.
sound?
I'd love to.
Awesome.
All right. We got to figure out what song. This song is a gospel tune about being buried in West Virginia. For those of you guys listening outside of the state, we were the 35th state. So we're the 35th star on the flag, and this song is called 35th Star. When this world's through with my body and mind, and the angels call me home to glory on high, find me an old shade tree high up on the hill, and wrap me up tight, Grandma's patchwork quilt, lay my bones to rest, where heaven's not too far, under the dirt of the 35th star, under the 35th star. Gather stones to surround me, pray for a mighty wind, and sing out to the ages an old mountain hymn, and lay my bones to rest, heaven's not too far, under the dirt of the 35th star, under the 35th star.
There's no need for mourning or a long sad goodbye, 'cause I shall return in the springtime as a cardinal by your side. Lay my bones to rest, for heaven's not too far. Under the dirt of the 35th star, under the 35th star, under the dirt of the 35th star, under the 35th star.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in to a brand new episode of Folklore, Frights, and Sounds here at Folklore Music Exchange. Make sure you go follow Andrew Adkins WV wherever you can. He's on Facebook, he's on Instagram. I'm sure he's got a website, he's got a new album out, he's got an album coming out. Me and Jeremiah are in his backing band, so hopefully you can come see us play whenever we're playing live. Also, make sure you go to folkloremusicexchange.com and see all the events we've got coming up. We're still booking all kinds of shows here. We're doing our guitar club meetings. We're going to be doing open mic nights soon here out at the park down here at the summertime. Yeah, a lot of cool things happening, so make sure you keep in touch. Thank you again for tuning in to Folklore, Frights, and Sounds, and we'll see you next time.